Commissioner, thank you for your letter that you've written to me about the King's Cross cycling death of Deeply, and you have offered a briefing on the whole junction, which I think probably Val Shawcross and Caroline Pigeon would also like to be part of. So yes to that briefing. I'd like to put my questions to the Mayor, because I think you've said lots of things this morning that I obviously agree with. We both want to increase cycling and we want the roads to be safe. That's a given. But it seems to me that very often Transport for London, or you, as you are Transport for London, you do ignore recommendations. You do not take suggestions from some very well-informed groups like London Cycling Campaign, because, and you've said it yourself, that you can't do this without disrupting traffic. Now, cyclists are traffic, and they are increasing, and I think we have to accept that we have to do more for them in terms of engineering on our roads. And I would, for example, at Bow Roundabout, where, as Caroline said, somebody was killed recently, local cyclists, local campaigners said that in fact there was an obvious and straightforward way of making access in both directions for cyclists, which would have meant that where the road narrows, cyclists would have been safe. But those suggestions were not taken up by TfL. And it does seem to me that you say cycling safety is paramount for us. I'm talking about cyclist safety, though.
You've gone on to the road safety issues at King's Cross.
Well, I'm just going, but I've mentioned Borough. I'm talking about cycle safety.
Okay.
You said just now that cycling safety is paramount for us, which is very good to hear. But then you say, actually, well, it's not, because traffic is more important.
No, I didn't say that. That's so and Jenny, I can understand, and I really respect and appreciate your raising this up the agenda, because it's I take this incredibly seriously, and it's of huge personal importance to me, because I feel that I'm the mayor who makes a big thing about cycling, and goes on and on about how wonderful it is that we've got our bike hire scheme, and that we've had a 15% increase in cycling in the last year, and I'm very proud of it. So of course it really worries me when I read about cycling accidents, and it grieves me sometimes to see the way that the TfL is blamed. And if we can do anything to ameliorate the junction that you describe, or the roundabout, then and if that is actually a realistic, if that would really address the problem, then of course we will look at it. But sometimes I have to say to you that I don't think that interventions are really that physical street works are the answer. The answer is very often to educate HGV drivers and to educate cyclists about the need not to be, as I said in my earlier answer to Caroline, not to be caught in that position on the left. There's a further thing that I think we could do, and I know that Peter is looking at this, particularly with HGVs, since HGVs are so much the problem, tipper trucks and cement mixers. There is a case, I think, for asking them to install sidebars running under the flank, as it were, of the vehicle from between the wheels. Because if you get hit by a bus, you won't be dragged under in the same way, and you won't receive these appalling injuries. And so there is a case for looking at that, and that is, I think, something that people are pursuing.
I welcome any measures that are going to make a difference to the death and seriously injured toll. But for example, you also ignored suggestions about Blackfriars Bridge. Now, you've even had a complete plan, alternative plan offered to you about making Blackfriars Bridge safer for cyclists, who are the largest part of traffic actually crossing Blackfriars in the morning peak.
I understand.
And you have ignored it. You have gone ahead with your plans that reduce space for cyclists and actually reduce pedestrian crossings as well. Why do you ignore measures that are cost effective? Every crash, every injury on our roads causes congestion, it causes delays. There is a financial aspect to this as well. And yet again and again, cycling safety is pushed aside when you have this idea that you've got to push traffic through. You're smoothing traffic flow measure.
Well, the reason we're doing what we're doing at Blackfriars, Jenny, is because we've got to have a massive pedestrian issue there. There are going to be huge numbers of people coming out of that station, and you need to have some sensible schemes for those vulnerable road users.
I don't disagree with that, but you have actually reduced space for cyclists while maintaining and even increasing space for cars. That doesn't seem logical. Cyclists are actually the biggest...
How many times, can I ask you how many times a month you cycle over Blackfriars Bridge?
I've no idea, a few.
I do it about 3 times a week.
Mr. Mayor, I know you don't have any sense of road danger, and the biggest barrier, you've said that, I've heard you say it yourself, the biggest barrier to getting more cyclists out on the roads is road safety. It's the fact they feel the roads are dangerous.
I agree with that.
You don't feel that.
No, but I agree with that, Jenny, and that's why I think it's your duty as an honest politician to tell people the truth, which is that cycling is actually getting safer when you consider the number of people on the roads, and I hope that you will do that.
I want more and more cyclists, and to do that we have to engineer the road.
I hope you will tell people the truth, that cycling is getting safer, that there are a number of KSIs as a proportion of cyclists is actually diminishing. I hope you will say that.
I do say that.
Do you?
It's true.
I haven't heard you say that.
But at the same time,
I haven't heard you say that.
Roads are still dangerous. People feel road danger. That's their perception. And you seem to ignore
is that possibly because
it was a Transport for London report that we've agreed, I think you've now read it, that actually said that Blackfriars should have more cycling space and that there should be 20 miles an hour. You constantly ignore.
Listen, I'm an inveterate user of Blackfriars Bridge, and I think it works pretty well. With great respect, Jenny, I think what I would like to hear is a reasonable debate, and a reasonable debate would begin by saying that it's an outstanding achievement to have expanded cycling, and it's good that cycling is getting safer, but what we need to do is to make it even safer.